Condition scoring is a really important tool for managing any maternal sheep, and we've got some ewe hoggets in the yard today. Just a quick demonstration of condition scoring. There's a range of different ways that you see it done out in the industry. I think it's just really critical that a lot of the science has been based on a certain method, and so it's important that we're all on that same page. So you see people feeling fat on the long ribs, which is not where we're meant to be acting. We're acting here on the short ribs in that loin area. So it's feeling the spine and then rolling your fingers down through that loin area, feeling both obviously muscle and fat through that area. Actually need to be feeling that full sort of engine room through there. So the best way to keep your brain on that game is to have your fingertips on the spine, roll them over the top of through that loin area, and then feel those ends of the short ribs. So the key reference point you want to work out is what a condition score 3 is. So a condition score 3 is where you've got between the top of the spine down to the end of the short ribs is flat. So that's not dipping down and it's not bulging up. So that's a pretty good indication of a 3 here. I can feel the end of that. I can feel the spine, but I can't feel in between those vertebrae. I can roll across that loin area and it's flat to the end of the short ribs. I can feel the ends of the short ribs, but only just. It's not like there's heaps of, you can't feel in and around them. You can feel that they are there, the ends of the short ribs, but not a lot around them. And so you've got some fat cover over them. So that's a really, a couple of key things. But that flatness between there and the end of the short ribs is the kind of key indicator of a 3, and that's something that was a really good reference point to find one of them in a mob as you get going. As you get under 3, you'll feel a bit more prominence in that spine, so I can feel the vertebrae a bit more. I can actually feel in between them a little bit more. I can feel as I roll down off there to the end of the short ribs, I'm feeling it dip down, and so it's dipping down into that, and so that means it's under 3. And then as I feel over the short ribs, I can feel they're rounded, but I can feel them a bit more. They're not. You can actually feel individual ones, and so she's just under a 3. So she's what we would call a 2.75. As you drop down into even a lower condition score, this one's more of a 2.5. So it's, again, I can feel quite a prominent spine there sticking up, and I'm feeling quite a dip, a bit more of a dip going down into that as I go down to the short ribs. And as I hit those short ribs, they're actually they've still got cover, but I can actually get sort of in and around them a bit more. And then as you get to a 2, it gets sharper and a lot less tissue. But finding that condition score 3 is a really good way to get yourself set for the day of condition scoring. One thing that is important is to have the sheep standing freely. Like clamps and those sort of things make it pretty hard to condition score. The other thing to remember when you're condition scoring animals is that we're all going to be slightly different, and that's okay. There's a couple of things that probably to check. One thing you can use, there's those models that have been developed as sort of reference tools. They're quite good. You can get a set of them if you're really keen on this game. It's good having at least getting a feel of them every now and again to reset yourself, or find a mate or a colleague who's done a bit of condition scoring and have a chat about what you're scoring, because you might get a bit of drift over time. There's 3 different ways that you use that condition score. One is you've got 50 ewes randomly out of the mob, and you're working out what the average of that mob is, because and you're going to use that as a management tool for the mob. So that's a really quick process going down the race. We use the Lifetime ewe app to do that, and so that's just a quick tap on the screen and record that, and that's a really quick way of getting that average of the mob. The second way you might use that condition scoring process is to pull out the skinny. So you actually have to put your hand on the whole mob for that reason. So rather than just that 50 that you're doing to work out the average, you might do that 50 and go, righto, we're sitting under 3. We actually need to pull that light edge off. So we're going to run back through and take that light edge off. And so then your hand on every sheep. You've got a couple of times a year where that's pretty good, or pretty critical process. Preg scanning and weaning are a couple of times that are really handy to touch every sheep, condition score them, and allocate them to their mob. And then the third thing that the third reason we would be condition scoring, and that would be as a ewe selection process. So often people don't do this process because they think there's a lot of work involved, but actually, in all of those 3 different processes, you actually can move really quickly through mobs of sheep.